Hi, people. It is the 21st of March. Wow. So 2/3 of the month is gone. I mean, wow. I didn't know it was that far. But that's the way it goes. And I'm going to have to strike that away from my vocabulary because I keep wanting to repeat my Papa Bear. Anyway, it is the evening of the 21st, and it is Saturday. And really, I did an experiment. It is all experiments, but I did a live today that ended up being 3 hours. And it was interesting. Kind of. I mean, for someone else looking at the live, it might not be so interesting. So I ended up talking to a bunch of people, and some of them were kids. Because they had their mother's phone. So, there you go. Even though I said not for kids, there they were. And I only say it's not for kids because you just never know what's going to be said. And I try to respect other parents and their children. But the law says 18 is an adult, so I figured 18 would be okay. Not that I really say anything too bad. I certainly don't say anything as bad as what's on that TV. I mean, I'm just amazed at what they have on TV these days. And see, I can remember way back when that was a no, 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 no. You don't do that on TV. Anyway, I'll get over that. And I'll be putting my glasses on soon. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I know that I need to get back to reading. And there might only be a few people interested in that as far as the book called Added Upon. It is really pretty cool. Or so far. I don't know. I haven't actually read the book, so I can't really say. But I know that it is a fictional book, and it follows some people from the pre-existence down to this existence. And I think it goes into the next existence, but I'm not sure. And when I say the next one, I'm really talking about the millennial existence, where we become semi-immortal, like Jesus Christ was. When Jesus came to the earth, he was part God. Let me change that. He was part immortal and part human. And I've got my ice machine on again. I'm going to turn that off. Anyway, I had mentioned that book, and somebody had asked me if I was going to read it. So I took that to mean that he would like for me to read it. So I decided to start doing that. But it is difficult to read because it is from a time long gone. The copyright is 1898, the first copyright. So, I don't know how to explain that, but I read a different book. I read parts of a different book on here that was I don't know. I would have to really look into that, but I think it was printed in 1915. Okay, so one of those things, either printed or copyrighted or something, was 1915, and I had a hard time reading it. However, this person was an apostle, but the words that he was using, even though they were small words, I couldn't understand them, and I didn't take the time to look them up. So that's what I need to do when I'm reading to you, especially if I don't understand it, and I need to find out why. But, I mean, I was shocked. Couple words were just small words, and I could pronounce them, I think, but I didn't know what they meant. So, here's one thing I wanted to share, and it's not important to anybody else but me, like I said, and that is I used to mark Book of Mormons, and I did so like a treasure hunt. I mean, I can show you because this book is marked. I found one. Yay! I was showing the Book of Mormon earlier today, and then I saw that it was marked. And so then I looked some more, and then I looked some more, and it was marked in the front, just like I used to do. It doesn't say anything about treasure hunt, I'm pretty sure. And I am not sure. I do not think I'm the one who marked it. And this is a really neat book. This is what the missionaries would bring out to you, a Book of Mormon. And it's very small, as you can see. And a lot of that is, this is index in the back, index, and then pronouncing guides. But it is. It's really neat. I'm so glad, because I was asking my brother, I don't think he ever did ask his kids, but I had given his kids marked Book of Mormons, and I'm not sure that I gave them to all of them, but this is neato. I am excited because the book that I had that I used for my template to go ahead and mark other books with, I've lost it. And I got a feeling it's in a box in a shed where the moisture got into it and ruined it. So I had no hope. And I actually went online looking for a treasure hunt through the Book of Mormon the other day. Let's see if this one's marked. I don't think it is. So anyway, I emptied a tote that was in my car, and it had 2 Book of Mormons in it. And I, like I said, I was showing one this morning, this one, and I flipped into it, opened up the book, and there were some markings, and I'm going, oh my, okay. So now I have to figure out what to do with it. Because in order for it to do you guys any good, oh, P-R-O-V, there you go, Proverbs. There is a Proverbs in the Old Testament. Was there anything else that started with a P-R-O-V? I could not think of Proverbs, but see, I'm just not real versed in the Old Testament. This book is really cool. This one that they would give to you if the missionaries came. Old Testament books, and probably New Testament books and Book of Mormon books. In other words, inside the book are other books. The first book of Nephi, his reign and ministry, an account of Lehi and his wife Sarah, or Sariah, and his 4 sons, being called, beginning at the eldest, Laman, Lemuel, Sam, and Nephi. So yes, Nephi is the youngest. The Lord warns Lehi to depart out of the land of Jerusalem, because he prophesieth unto the people concerning their iniquity, and they seek to destroy his life. He taketh 3 days' journey into the wilderness with his family. Nephi taketh his brethren and returneth to the land of Jerusalem after the record of the Jews. The account of their sufferings, they take the daughters of Ishmael to wife, they take their families and depart into the wilderness. Their sufferings and afflictions in the wilderness. See, what I'm reading to you is what's going to be in this chapter. And actually, this is about the whole book of First Nephi. Okay, their sufferings and afflictions in the wilderness. The course of their travels, they come to the large waters. Nephi's brethren rebel against him. He confoundeth them and buildeth a ship. They call the name of the place Bountiful. They cross the large waters into the promised land, and so forth. This is according to the account of Nephi. Or, in other words, I, Nephi, wrote this record. Okay, so that's this top part right here. It's talking about the book of Nephi. And Nephi's the one who wrote it. But, okay, I'm hot all of a sudden. One of the treasures of being an older woman, menopause. My mama said it never goes away. Anyway, I picked up this book, and look, there's things marked in it. And then down at the bottom, it says, go to page 6. So that's how my treasure hunt went. I would mark some stuff, and then it had a page to go to, and then you mark some more scriptures, and then it had another page to go to. Sometimes you just turned over the page. But I'm excited because it is the same thing. It says, signs in the Western Hemisphere of Christ's death. Okay, so that's got to be, that's in Helaman. That's weird. Huh. All right. It confuses me because 3rd Nephi is where all the stuff is happening about Christ. And there's 3rd Nephi right there. In other words, okay, if you were interested, first of all, Mormon Doctrine is a great book, but that's not what I wanted to tell you. That's the book I've been reading out of that has, it's a topical guide, and it tells you all the different scriptures in the Old Testament, New Testament, Book of Mormon. And there's 2 more. I just can't think at the moment. Pearl of Great Price and Doctrine and Covenants. So there's 5 that we consider scriptures. And then they probably consider a lot more scriptures because we have modern day prophets, and what they say is basically scripture too. It just hasn't been written in a book. Do 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 do. See, here's one that says, little children do not need baptism. I mean, that's it's written there, and then all these markings are going to tell you about that. So any old who, I don't know that I want to spend my time really marking books, but maybe I could use it to help teach you guys. If you get that app on your phone or your tablet or your computer, then you have the scriptures all at your fingertips. So I could tell you, we could go through the treasure hunt with me telling you where to go. But I'm surprised that that's what happens after death. That's in Alma 40. I thought it was going to be 42. There's just a lot of good things in Alma. And it's got 63 chapters. That is the right word, chapters. I don't always come up with my right words. But I'm telling you, this has got to be the same thing. Go to page 221. So, that is just really neat, because it's not my handwriting. And in the old days when I was marking books, which I have since learned not to do that, unless I did this, but that's not my handwriting. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, then I just started, I did start doing that, circling the number of the scripture. It used to be that I would draw a line under each line, and you end up marking through the words, and you can't read it so very well. Wow. 3rd Nephi, chapter 16. Jesus will visit others of the lost sheep of Israel. In the latter days, the gospel will go to the Gentiles and then to the house of Israel. The Lord's people shall see eye to eye when he brings again Zion. I've talked about Zion recently. That is a place where everybody is of one heart and one mind. And there's no poor. No rich and no poor. And this is, see, John 10, 14 through 16. So it's even telling you to go to the Bible to look. So many people think that this is our Bible and that we don't believe in the Bible. Now, what I will say about the Bible is there are some things that are left out. Sometimes they translated. Okay. Really? Okay, well, yeah, it would be. What they've written here is this is the most important chapter in the Book of Mormon, when it's chapter 11. I've got a headache. It's because I haven't been taking my blood pressure medicine either. Okay. See, I've talked about 3rd Nephi. 3rd Nephi, the very first chapter, verses 13 and 14. However, I said read 12 through 15. And then I said read the whole chapter. But that's telling. I mean, it's real important, those. And I've read it just recently, so I shouldn't read it again. But it is telling about the sign of Jesus' birth. Okay? Jesus is born over in Jerusalem, or wherever. I think it's Jerusalem that he's born. You know, he's in some different places. Bethlehem. But anyway, so what am I trying to say? This being marked as the most important book or chapter in the book is going to be when Jesus Christ actually comes and appears to these people. Okay? Literally. As a resurrected being, he comes down and visits these people. And they've been waiting for him. They've known forever and ever and ever that he's coming. But chapter 1 in 3rd Nephi is going to tell you about the signs of his birth. But not only that, there's a man out there praying mightily to the Lord because the non-believers are fixing to kill the believers. And they have said, you know, it's past time. He should have came. The sign should have been given. So we're going to kill you if it doesn't come by such and such date. So Nephi is out crying in the fields, praying to the Lord for help to save his people. And a voice comes to him and says, "Lift up your head and be of good cheer. For on this night the sign will be given, and on the morrow come I into the world to fulfill all the things that I have told the prophets to say," to write and say. You know, so we got the believers over here waiting and waiting and waiting, and the non-believers are fed up with the believers and they want to kill them. And so what's really important about that is that Jesus Christ said to him, "On the morrow come I into the world to fulfill all that I have had my holy prophets to say." So what does that tell you? Doesn't that tell you that Jesus Christ is the great Jehovah of the Old Testament? And yeah, he can be pretty mean. And you've heard of the wrath of God, right? Well, Jesus Christ might have been meek and mild, but he wasn't always. I mean, he wasn't meek and mild when he cleaned out the temple. When the merchant people were in there, the money changers were exchanging money and they were selling things. And it was just, they were doing that on the temple grounds. And he did that twice. He cleaned that off twice. First time, try to get this right in my head. The first time he said, my Father's house. The second time he said, my house. Okay? It's just an interesting fact, if you pay attention. Way interesting. But especially the part about him saying, come I into the world. And to fulfill all that I've had my holy prophets to write and say. Because I'm sure they went out preaching too. Wow. I've been without my stuff all day and I don't like it. I'm trying to go without, but I do like my stuff. And I just don't know how it would go. If I actually paid the $200 and got my medical card where it was legal, would I still be able to get a job? You know, because there's still that drug test that's going on. No matter if you got cancer or not. I do have cancer. I think I'm doing well, and I don't say that I have it so that I can get pity. I say that I have it because that's one of the major deals. THC kills cancer cells. And it doesn't kill you. I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say, but you know, these chemotherapy, it's killing cancer cells, but it's killing you too. And the doctors agreed. The doctors told me, yeah, you're right. So excuse me. I got a friend that's on chemo right now. Actually, it's my agent, my insurance agent. When I was first talking to her, her mother had cancer. But she's been with me since I was 65, so she's been with me 6 years. And now she has cancer. But she's doing chemo. And I'm not exactly sure. I don't think she mentioned radiation. And I didn't tell her about my salve. Maybe I should. I created a salve while I was in Colorado. That is, as you can look, because I put it on my veins earlier. Anyway, this salve has THC in it. And I know for a fact that it does. I was worried that maybe I might have cooked it out. But I didn't. Because I have testimonials and I have it on my business card, and it's really more of an introduction card, but it promotes blood flow. It helps with healing, and it also gets rid of arthritis pain. And you can just put it right here on your veins and let it melt in. It just melts into your skin, which means it's going into your bloodstream. And I know that for a fact. So, what's my point? My point was, here I are in Pennsylvania. Now, I can go get a card. It's $200 to get a card. But then, can you work? You know, because that stuff stays in your system for 30 days. So there I are. Even if I have just a little bit at night, it's going to be in my system. So, am I able to get a job? I don't know. Am I able to use God's green herb to help me out? because it was given to us by God, the Creator. Everything on this earth, every green herb, every herb that produces seed, but I'm thinking it's just going to be every herb, because it says that everything, plant life, animal life, the fish, the fowl, the people, was all created by God, actually by Jesus, with instruction from God. Those are some weird little things to think about. But anyway, I'm excited to find this book, because I've been wanting this book, and there it is. It's been in my car in a tote all this time, but it was not mine. I mean, it was mine because I got a couple from church I was going to give away. And then I ended up putting them in a tote. When I left Dad's, I was not able to carry hardly anything with me, but hey, I carried these. So they must be important. Anyway, I'm just excited. So I'll have to figure out what to do about that. And then the other thing is I need to get back to reading and Added Upon. But it is hard to read, and I have a headache. So maybe I will not do that, because I've already been talking a half an hour. I'm really good at that. Let me see. Let me see if there's something. Just open up the book, and where did I go? Helaman. Ah, interesting. Okay. I don't know that my friend would be listening. He has more to do than listen to me. But here's something that's important. Something that I have mentioned. Okay, I mentioned it to you guys too, because it is the sealing power. So I just opened up the book to Helaman, and chapter 10, the synopsis, which tells you what's coming in the chapter. The Lord gives Nephi the sealing power. He is empowered to bind and loose on earth and in heaven. He commands the people to repent or perish. The Spirit carries him from congregation to congregation. Wow. So I don't know that I want to read this whole chapter, because it's, how big is it? 10. These pages are thin. It's not that long, except for my head hurts. The point about this is, okay, the sealing power is that in the temple, you can be sealed to your mate for time and all eternity. And that's the sealing power they're talking about. It's a power given on earth. You just can't do it. It's something that's given. And this is back in the Book of Mormon days, so I don't know what this is going to say, but I tell you what, I'll just read it because it's not very long. And it came to pass that there arose a division among the people, insomuch that they divided hither and thither, and went their ways, leaving Nephi alone, as he was standing in the midst of them. I think I remember that. Okay, and it came to pass that Nephi went his way towards his own house, pondering upon the things which the Lord had shown unto him. And it came to pass, as he was thus pondering, being much cast down because of the wickedness of the people of the Nephites, their secret works of darkness, and their murderings, and their plunderings, and all manner of iniquities. And it came to pass, as he was thus pondering in his heart, behold, a voice came unto him, saying, Blessed art thou, Nephi, for those things which thou hast done. For I have beheld how thou hast with unwearyingly unwearyingness, meaning not getting tired, declared the word which I have given unto thee, unto this people. And thou hast not feared them, and hast not sought thine own life, but hast sought my will, and to keep my commandments. And now, because thou hast done this with such unwearyingness, behold, I will bless thee forever, and I will make thee mighty in word and in deed, in faith and in works, yea, even that all things shall be done unto thee according to thy word. For thou shalt not ask that which is contrary to my will. Behold, thou art Nephi, thou art Nephi, and I am God. Behold, I declare it unto thee in the presence of mine angels, that ye shall have power over this people, and shall smite the earth with a famine, and with pestilence and destruction, according to the wickedness of this people. Sorry about my throat. Behold, I give unto you power, that whatsoever ye shall seal on earth shall be sealed in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And thus shall ye have power among this people. And thus, if ye shall say unto this temple, it shall be rent in twain, it shall be done. And if ye shall say unto this mountain, be thou cast down and become smooth, it shall be done. And behold, if ye shall say that God shall smite this people, it shall come to pass. And now, behold, I command you that ye shall go and declare unto this people that thus saith the Lord God, who is the Almighty, except ye repent, ye shall be smitten, even unto destruction. And behold, now it came to pass that when the Lord had spoken these words unto Nephi, he did stop and did not go unto his own house, but did return unto the multitudes who were scattered about upon the face of the land, and began to declare unto them the word of the Lord, which had been spoken unto him concerning their destruction, if they did not repent. Now behold, notwithstanding that great miracle which Nephi had done, in telling them concerning the death of the chief judge, they did harden their hearts and did not hearken unto the words of the Lord. Therefore Nephi did declare unto them the word of the Lord, saying, except ye repent, thus saith the Lord, ye shall be smitten even unto destruction. And it came to pass that when Nephi had declared unto them the word, behold, they did still harden their hearts, and would not hearken unto his words. Therefore they did revile against him, and did seek to lay their hands upon him, that they might cast him into prison. But behold, the power of God was with him, and they could not take him to cast him into prison. For he was taken by the Spirit and conveyed away out of the midst of them. And it came to pass that thus he did go forth in the Spirit from multitude to multitude, declaring the word of God, even until he had declared it unto them all, or sent it forth among all the people. And it came to pass, my voice is being weird, and it came to pass that they would not hearken unto his words. And there began to be contentions, insomuch that they were divided again. They were divided against themselves, and began to slay one another with the sword. And thus ended the 71st year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi. Okay, so I just read, I guess it would be a chapter. I just read a chapter. So there's more that came before that and more that's coming after that. But they were warned. So that was chapter 10 in Helaman that I just read. Chapter 9 starts out, messengers find the chief judge dead at the judgment seat. They are imprisoned and later released by inspiration. Nephi identifies, I don't know that word, looks like Sean, Seantum, as the murderer. Nephi is accepted by some as a prophet. That's just a synopsis of the chapter. So I'm going backwards. Corrupt judges seek to incite the people against Nephi. Abraham, Moses, Zenos, Zenoch, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lehi, and Nephi all testified of Christ. By inspiration, Nephi announces the murder of the chief judge. And I think, if I'm remembering right, he wasn't even there. He just knew that it had happened. But I've read enough. Because my head's starting to hurt and I don't like that. I did go and get me some BC powders yesterday. And actually, my granddaughter, Madison, she came over and then she took me to get some BC powders. And then she actually bought them too. I mean, what a sweet girl. Really, she is a sweet girl. I have 5 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. So I actually have 6 grandchildren, but 1 is great. And she's 5 months old. She's a sweetie pie. Her name is Charlotte. And I think they're nicknaming her Charlie, which is cool. So yeah, I've spent a lot of time on here today. My live that I did was 3 hours long. But mostly it was amazing how many people were popping on and stuff. So I'll be reading their messages and talking to them and stuff. And you can't see their messages at all. I don't know if you can during the time of the live, but after it's been processed and it's put on my channel, you don't see any of that. But I did notice I have like 350 to 380 views of that, which is exciting to me. And I gained 13 subscribers. However, 2 have dropped off, and there'll probably be some more that drop off. Because they don't know what I'm all about. They haven't been to my channel yet. Maybe they're against God. Not that everything's all about God. However, a lot of it is. So, teach me to walk in the light of his love. Teach me to pray to my Father above. Da, 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 da. Teach me to walk in his love. And that's what I did growing up. I was one of the blessed ones. You know, a lot of us kids don't think we're very blessed when our parents have their thumb on us and we can't go out and do what everybody else is doing. But they were watching out for us, keeping us out of harm's way. And then you get to the point where you got married, because I got married a week after I turned 17, or you become 18 and you think you are an adult. Let me laugh at that. Just because the law of the land says you're an adult at 18 does not mean you are an adult. There's so much to learn. So many things. And to think that I don't know my right words, but you know, I got married a week after I turned 17. And no, I was not ready. All I knew was I had a boyfriend, I had partaken of the forbidden fruit, and all I knew is I wanted to be with him, okay? I didn't realize all the things that come with a marriage and the communication. I didn't have communication skills at that time. And still, even now, probably would have a hard time with some things, communicating. You know, when they hurt your feelings or they do things that are not what they should be doing. I thought you loved me type of deal, but you don't. And it's really hard to let go of things. Like even now, it's hard to let go of something that you're so attached to. I've gotten myself quite attached. And I don't know how I'm going to get out of that. I pray to my Father above. And I do have desires. But I also have to realize that it might not be in my best interest to go after those desires. I put oil on my face. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, I did a live today. I know I already said that. But there were lots of people. I talked to a lot of people. But I think I removed 3 people that were rude. You don't need to be rude. And if you are rude, then you're asking to be swept off. Like the promise of this land, people. I mean, if you haven't been listening to me, then you don't know what I have said. I've got so many videos, it's all lost in there. But I have been talking about it lately, and it is the promise of this land in America. It's the promised land. It's the land of milk and honey. It's the land above all lands. And the people that were brought here by Jesus Christ, because he's the God of the land, he told them, I will let you, because it was the people from the Tower of Babel, and they were wanting to keep their language together, and he let a certain group of people keep their communication, but he also took them away to the great waters. They built barges, 8 of them, and they crossed the waters. But the promise was, as long as you worship the God of this land, which is me, meaning Jesus Christ, then you'll prosper in the land. You'll flourish. But when you are ripe with iniquity, which is sin, when you are ripe with iniquity, you'll be swept off. Now, I thought it meant swept off into the ocean. I mean, I take things literally, you know. But really what it turned out is that these people, they were good for a while. But then they forgot. And what happened was they killed each other. Just like what I just read you, where these people took the swords to each other. So no, they weren't swept into the ocean. They were swept off the face of the earth because they were killed. And they killed each other. It wasn't like God said, okay. You know, I was thinking maybe because that promise is still in effect, people. And so I thought to myself that maybe if there's so many that are not good, we'll all go, just like Sodom and Gomorrah was changed. They were incinerated, basically. Turned to stone. Fireballs from heaven came. Anyway, that's God doing that. And it's God doing the other, but what they did was they turned on each other until they were all gone. And it's in the book of Ether. The Jaredites, the Jaredite nation, they came from the Tower of Babel. And I'm not sure where they landed. I'm almost thinking they might have landed in America. See, it's about North America and South America, this Book of Mormon. See, the Lehi's family, what it talks about in the very beginning of the Book of Mormon, when they left Jerusalem, they were also brought over. And I'm not sure if they went to South America or if they went to North America. Maybe everything came to North America. I don't know how that worked. Got a lot more studying to do. But right now my head's saying enough already. So I think what I'm going to do is take something from my head, take my pills, and go to bed. Maybe I'll be able to go to sleep. I have a hard time going to sleep. And then once I do go to sleep, I don't stay asleep. I'm lucky if I get 4 hours that's consistent. So, I mean, I can get up in 4 hours, go potty, go back to bed, and go back to sleep. But I'm not going to... Sometimes I'll scroll until I get tired again. But basically, I need to get my sleep. And I'm not doing it. And then you come to find out all these things that you need, like your eyes, your skin, your hair, everything depends on, I mean, one of the main components is sleep. And I've never gotten enough sleep my whole life. I can't say my whole life. I don't know when I went to bed when I was a kid. But I know that I had to get up really early before I was ready to go to seminary. I'm glad I went to seminary. I'm glad I've got that knowledge. I'm glad for all the knowledge that I have obtained by going to church. And I'm talking about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That is where I was raised, within that church. My mom and dad were very young converts. My dad's mother joined the church, and he said anything that was good enough for her was good enough for him. And they started, my mom and dad, she was 16 and he was 17 when they got married. So that's about when they joined, too. And I was their firstborn, and we lived our life at church, really. Because church was on Sunday, but then there were meetings during the week, too. And back when I was a little thing, we had church in the morning and church in the afternoon on Sunday. We had 2 meetings, and they were separated. So I don't know about now. I mean, yes, I do know about now. Now they have 2-hour segments. And you do it at the same time. You don't go back and forth and back and forth. It used to be, not that long ago, it was 3-hour segments, and then they changed it to 2. And there's some reasons for that. One is trying to spend more time with your family doing things that you should be doing on Sunday. You know, like maybe studying the scriptures or visiting the sick or whatever, doing something together besides just at church. But also, I think that it might have to do with how many people are joining the church, too. I talked about that the other day, a fluid motion coming in, releasing the classes, another group comes in, this people with the classes are going home, and these people are going to classes, another group is coming in. Sometimes there's at least 4 wards meeting in a chapel, which is a group of people. A ward is a group of people up to 1,000 members. Thank you. I don't know thank you. I know that was Evan, and she was on my live today. Some just popped up and told me that someone commented. She's a good girl. Anyway, I'm thrilled talking to people. However, it was sad. It was sad yesterday. I did a live yesterday, too. Sad in a few ways. People's relatives dying. But I talked to some young people today and the sad situations that they live in. Not talking about their family. Talking about their... like one person said that it wasn't good being young these days because of the bullying and all the different things. She listed a whole bunch of things that cause you problems. And there you are, you're stuck. Until you get old enough to take care of yourself or to do, you know, when you're a certain age, you're kind of forced into this school situation. And then you've got these people from all walks of life in the same school. And there's bullies. And I got to experience bullies today. But see, I'm old enough. I'm not old enough to enjoy it or like it or not get mad, because I got mad. But I also just removed them because I figured out how to do that. I can press on them, and then it pops up with a screen, and I can hide them so I don't have to look at their comments. And it's better that I don't get mad, because that's not a very good thing, right? But when someone makes me upset, I tend to get mad back. So, best thing to do is eliminate them. But I'm just saying, young people don't have that option when they're going to school and they're being harassed and stuff. And the schools are so big these days, you don't have people really seeing everything that goes on. And there you are. So yeah, I can understand that. It's a sad situation. And then today was the same about grandmothers and mothers dying. So part of what I'm trying to tell you people is there is life after death. And death is something we're all going to have to go through unless Jesus Christ comes. And then sometimes the best people, that pre-existence I was talking about, we grew up, we did things, we had jobs, we had accomplishments, we grew up with a spiritual body, and it wasn't a puff of smoke. I used to think that's what a spirit was, but excuse me, I have learned by reading that, and that was in Ether too. The brother of Jared was the one who did all the praying. He was tight with God. I think Jared must not have been, because he kept going to his brother and telling him to go pray. And it was about holding their languages together and stuff. So what was I going to say? Oh, the brother of Jared had so much faith that he saw the finger of Jesus Christ when he was lighting these stones. They were going to become the lights to those barges. He was asking, the brother of Jared was asking Jesus how we are going to light these things. We're going to be in the dark. And he said, well, what do you want me to do? Tell me what you want me to do. And so he came up with a plan that he went to a hill and he made like crystals, molten stone, but they were like crystals. And he told Jesus, if you will just touch these stones, they will be lit. And we can use that for light. They used 2 stones for each barge. There was 16 stones, 8 barges. And so when Jesus did touch them to light them, the brother of Jared saw his finger. And Jesus told him nobody had come to him with so much faith that they saw that without someone. Because I know Moses saw him face to face. But the point is, that is way back in the time of the Tower of Babel, so I don't know when it is. It's way long time ago. But the point is, Jesus also showed himself to the brother of Jared once he had seen his finger. And the brother of Jared, he also showed him his handiwork, some of the things he had done, his creations and stuff, and he showed him the future. He showed him Jesus Christ's ministry, the miracles, the sermons, the crucifixion, and the resurrection. But what the brother of Jared said was that he looked the same. He looked the same when he was on the earth, teaching and healing and dying for our sins. He looked the same then as he did in his spirit form. That was his spirit body he showed the brother of Jared. I mean, that's some great insight right there, because he looked identical to what he did in spirit form, in human form. And I think I read what he said was that no one had shown that much faith in what he saw. He saw like he was in a physical form. So anyway, that's a good book to go read. You guys need to do that. You need to put Gospel Library. That's an app. Put that on your device. You can put it on your phone, if it's a smartphone. And read the Book of Ether and the Book of Mormon. See, if you get that Gospel Library, it's going to pop up with a bunch of different things. And down at the bottom on the left-hand side is a little bookshelf with 4 books. Tap on that. And then it'll bring up some other stuff for you to tap on. And one of them is the scriptures. So if you tap on that, where it says scriptures, you'll get all the scriptures, all divided out, and then you can choose. So you would choose the Book of Mormon, and then you would choose the Book of Ether, and then you would go read Ether. And what I explained the other day, the Book of Mormon is basically a jacket. You know, like if you were to take and we used to make paper book covers, you know, for our books at school so they wouldn't get hurt. But the point is, that's the kind of jacket I'm talking about. The Book of Mormon, that's the name of the book. And Mormon he was a historian, he did abridge records from the beginning of time. And this Book of Mormon is named after him. And no, we don't worship Mormon. But he is to be revered. Is that a good word? He is to be respected for what he did. And then when you read more about Mormon, oh my. At 10 years old, a man of God came to him and he says, I perceive that you are a sober child. But see, I think he perceived a lot more than that, because he told him not to preach to these people. He's 10 years old, okay? But he was telling him to observe what happens And then when you're 24 years old, I want you to go to this mountain or hill. And I think the name Shem is in there. Anyway, he told him a place to go where there were some records, and he was supposed to get in there. And I don't know if it's the same box, that the Book of Mormon was left in. But he was supposed to go to this place and get these records, pull some of the records out and write what he had observed. Okay? So that's from 10 to 24, 14 years. But when he was 16, there's war going on, people. And a different kind of war than what we have. I mean, with clubs and swords and spears, probably, whatever. Anything that you could hurt someone with and kill them with is what they were using. They didn't have bullets. But anyway, the people wanted Mormon to lead the armies because he was so big. He was because of his large stature. So here's this guy, 16 years old, leading armies, battling for life, battling to keep your possessions, battling to protect your people and your liberty. So, in the back of the Book of Mormon, there is actually a book called Mormon. And that is Mormon telling you about the destruction of his people, the annihilation of his people. Moroni is his son. Moroni, Angel Moroni, that's the guy who came to Joseph Smith and told him about the record and showed him where the record was. And on all of our temples, at the top, very top of the temple spiral, there is the angel Moroni in gold with a trumpet coming out of his mouth. Hear ye, hear ye. I'm telling you, people, it's real important, this book. And I have only told you a little bit. A lot has gone into that book so that we could have it. And it was saved for our time. When you read in the Book of Ether, you'll find that out. And maybe there's another book where they found the records. The Jaredite nation, they were destroyed. They were swept off. But they had a record. They had 24 gold plates amongst, see, I don't have all my right words, but they come across a bunch of bones. These people came across where they could tell a great nation had been there, but they had bones everywhere. And they found that record, but they could not understand the language. And there was a man that had the power and gift from God to be a seer. And he had a Urim and Thummim. But actually, let me change that, because with that record, with the 24 gold plates, was a Urim and Thummim for that record. I believe that's what I read. Now see, Joseph Smith, when he got the gold plates, Angel Moroni showed him where they were. And when he finally got them after 4 years, there was a Urim and Thummim inside the box with the record. And that is how he translated that book. The same way these people in the Book of Mormon did. I don't know where that's at. So I don't know if that's actually in the book of Jared, the Jaredites, because they're the ones who got destroyed. If somebody else found that record and took it to the person who was a seer and got it translated. But then once it was translated, it was kind of like sealed up. No one could have it. Even though it had been translated, only the prophet could have it. And it was I don't know if sealed up is the right word, but it was put where it would not be found until our time. So there's interesting things. I just need to get my head back into the game. And I don't want my head to hurt. So that's okay. That's enough of that. I just want to be sharing. That's mostly what I'm doing, trying to share. But I did have some people today that were not very nice. I mean, one guy, you know, there were some young people on there too, but it doesn't matter. Because I guess older people can be rude too. But one person was telling me that I needed a facelift, that I needed to take my wrinkles away from there. And I told him, I said, you know what? This is my channel. If anybody's leaving, it's you. In other words, don't come to my channel. If you don't like what you see, then keep on going. You don't need to be rude about it. It's not like I need to feel bad. But they did throw me off my game a little bit. But I just decided, I did the thing. I pushed on their little icon, and then I pushed on remove, and away you go. It wasn't remove, because there's a remove, and then there was one hide from my channel. So I don't need to hear that crap. Actually, nobody does. And our young people that are being bullied at school, how terrible, how tragic that is happening, and how tragic it is that we make them go through that. You know, when a school has more than 2,000 kids and only a certain amount of teachers and principal, vice principal, counselor, and then they're teaching them things they shouldn't teach them in the first place. There's just a lot of things that are not good about the school system. But anything that's going to make your children feel like they're not worth anything. You know, how sad. See, it made me sad, but then I know that I'm worth a lot. And I know that I've been through a lot. And I know that I was beautiful once, even if I'm not now. And I think for my age, I'm doing okay. And these stupid wrinkles is coming with my cancer treatments because they are taking away my hormones. I take a pill every day that makes it so I do not produce hormones, and then I take treatments once a month. I have to have shots. It's one shot, but it's 2 needles because there's too much stuff for 1 needle. And I have to do that every 28 days in my butt. Most of the time it doesn't hurt too bad. Sometimes it does. But the whole thing is the shots are to degrade the receptors of the hormones. So, stopping producing them and stopping them from getting where they're going. And wrinkles, because I'm drying up. If you don't have your female hormones, you don't have the plump skin that you once did. And then if you're 71 years old, you know, you kind of expect to have some wrinkles. I don't like it. But I do. I can see videos from a year ago on my channel. I didn't have these wrinkles. Not like I do. But then then we go back to the part where I can't sleep. And they're saying, you know, all these things that can go wrong with you a lot has to do with sleep. So here I are. I can't sleep. Not cool. Okay, well, I think I've been on here plenty long time, 1 hour and 8 minutes. It was really neat, though, on my live. I talked to somebody from Russia. I talked to somebody from New Zealand, from Sweden, Texas, Indiana, Evan. Is it Indiana? I might get a little confused. I can do that, you know. But anyway, I think it was Love from Indiana. I want to mix it up with Illinois. But nevertheless, somebody from Ohio, from North Carolina. I don't remember them all, but I mean, it shocked me. Russia, and then yesterday was China. Oh, and there was a lady that was, maybe she was just from Japan. I don't know if she was living in Japan or if she's just Japanese or what, but I talked to somebody from there. Anyway, and then one girl was, she was telling me that it was, because I told them about my live. Tomorrow I'll be doing a live at 3:33 on Eastern Standard Time, and it'll be, the topic is Jesus Christ, because it's Sunday, and that's just the way I feel like it ought to be. But it's open to discussion, unless you're rude. Now I know how to get rid of you, so don't be rude. Even old people have feelings. And when I'm looking in that mirror, I do not see an old person. I see, but I do. I see all these wrinkles, and I don't know where the heck they came from. But now I do. It doesn't matter. The point is, be nice, people. Especially to the children. But, you know, some people don't know how to be nice, and maybe they haven't been treated nice themselves. But I do think that was totally frickin' rude. Tried to hurt my feelings. And they managed to succeed. But I did get past it. But our little kids, the one that was saying it's not so nice, and she was talking about being bullied, she was 14. That is a hard age. That's the 8th grade here. I had a hard time with my daughter when she was in the 8th grade. I was just I grew up in a different time. And just oblivious to the horribleness that can be out there. So, I would hope and pray that we could do better. And love is the answer. I can hear him. Is that John Lennon or is that the Beatles? Anyway, good songs from way back when, if you ask me. A lot of good songs. Let It Be, that's a good song. Especially when there's... There are things recently that I've said, let it be, and I'm talking about the law about marijuana. You people. The person who made that illegal to begin with, I'm sure he's already dead. But I hope he pays and pays and pays for the harm that he has done. Families being destroyed. Children being thrown into foster care. Parents being thrown into prison over stupid crap. It's the peace drug, people. If you want to call it a drug, it's the peace drug. But yet you let the thing that causes so much trouble be legal. Alcohol should not be legal. I mean, if you're going to choose between one or the other, alcohol is deadly. You can have too much alcohol in your system and die. You can drink enough that you black out. You can drink little and black out. If your makeup is such, which I am one of those, I can black out. And there you are at the mercy of everyone around you. Or you can go drive your car and kill yourself or kill someone else. Alcohol's not good. Alcohol is something that will make it easy for you to do the things you shouldn't be doing. Like if you have a family and you have a wife or a husband, you shouldn't be out drinking in a bar, dressing all sexy and going out and tempting and then drinking. You don't think something's going to happen? Yeah, huh? And you're guilty. Those of you who do that are guilty. I'm talking about if you have a spouse and you're out. I mean, it depends on the situation, doesn't it? But still, you should not be out drinking. I would say you should be at home smoking pot, having some snacks, watching a TV show, or dancing to some music, or having an intellectual conversation. You know, I've seen people, I've watched them. You get all purdied up and and I was one of them too. You get all purdied up and you want to go out and you hope that you'll meet somebody and da-da-da-da-da. But you're at the bar. And see, I can never afford all that drinking anyway. But they come out all looking all good. I mean, they start the evening looking all good, sharp. By the time the night is done, they're spent. They're a mess. Their makeup might be all over the place. It's just not a pretty sight sometimes. You don't stay beautiful all night if you're drinking. And you really shouldn't go to a bar looking for a man. Really, you should go to church, because that's the kind of man you want. You don't want a man that's going to go out hunting. And see, the man out hunting, put all the blame on the man, makes the woman do the same. Maybe the woman did it first, I don't know. But I know there's a lot of bad stuff to do with alcohol. And then there's all them other drugs too. But see, that's the thing. I tried to impress upon you people. Marijuana is the peace drug. Marijuana is something God gave us. It's medicine. It's medicine for the mind and it's medicine for the body. And here's the deal. We got all these other drugs out there. And if people can't get pot, because it's hard to get a hold of, unless you got a lot of money to go buy it from a dispensary. Just saying, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that people, in general, they're going to get their drug. Not everybody. I mean, the ones going to church and doing good are not doing that, right? But for the very unhappy people in the world, they want something. And if they can't have the one, they will get the other. And the sad state of affairs is the other is cheaper. It's not necessarily cheaper all the way, but it's all readily available. So I'm just saying, people drink because it's the legal drug. I mean, some of them have it in their head. Some people I know think that they can drink and get drunk and spend all their money and put someone else down for smoking pot. How can you do that? Really, people? Because someone said it was bad? Someone who wanted to deport Mexicans? Go back in time. What president did that? They made it illegal so that it would be easier to deport Mexicans. And we're talking years and years and years and freaking years ago. And we have all been living with that. No, they didn't do a good thing. They didn't do a good thing at all. And they cut our rights away from us. Because God gave it to us. Now, my religion, my church, that's one of the things they have said. I mean, I have read it where they have said that if you're using it for medicine, then that's a different story. But for using it for recreation, it's an you're altering your state of mind. Mind-altering drugs, that's the deal. You're not supposed to be doing that unless it is a medication. And then you should be careful how you do it, you know. Anyway, that's enough on that. I'm just telling you, we live by these rules that someone else made. You really need to go back and find out what was behind them making that rule and how many lives have been ruined over it. I mean, I'd like to have my chance at him. I'd like to beat him to a pulp. Yeah, this little old weak thing. But he deserves it. So we hire the thugs to go beat the crap out of him, but I don't think he's alive anymore. But he sure did cause a lot of trouble. And I don't think there's any way he can pay for all that he has done. But it's still happening today. Families themselves fight between each other because how dare you do that? I just don't understand. I don't understand how they cannot see themselves and then think that it's okay. It's okay because it's the legal thing to do. You can go right down to the liquor store and get it. Things are better. Things are better. I know that things are better. But even legalizing marijuana, they've left a lot of rules in place. They've still left it to where you can get in a lot of trouble. And then there are still states that won't allow it. I mean, really, if I had the money and a lawyer, I could probably go sue Kansas. I lost a lot. I lost a lot over something that wasn't even real. And I've heard that they're getting in trouble for that because I'm sure they did it to a lot of people, not just me. So I'm just saying, I've paid my dues and I know firsthand some stuff. And it's not right. It's not right at all. And it would be nice if we could all be happy and not need a drug or want a drug, because there is a time when you're just wanting it because you're curious and it's, it's there. But just saying, people, there's so much more important things in this life and what's coming. You need to get ready because Jesus Christ is coming again, and soon. Very soon. So I guess I should shut up on that note. I just know from a lot of experiences of my very own that he's coming. We've said that. They've said it for a long time. He's coming. He's coming soon. But see, I did a lot of reading up on a mountainside in the scriptures. And some of that, I kept seeing 200 years. 200 years means something. And see, the true church of Jesus Christ was promised to be restored to the earth before the second coming, in preparation for the second coming. That's what we're doing, trying to spread the word and trying to help people have good lives. The church is a wonderful thing. It really is. And I would suggest to any of you, if you have the possibility, like I was talking to a lot of kids, I'm going, how are you on my thing? Because I said it's not for kids. I'm using my mother's device. Anyway, the point is, if there is a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints close to you, you need to go find them and investigate them. And how you investigate them is you go to Sunday school, go to sacrament meeting, check it out for yourself. See how you feel while you're there. I'm talking about feeling the Spirit, really feeling it. It's a sweet, beautiful feeling. And it can be chill bumps, which I'm getting right now, or it can be tears falling down out of your eyeballs. But you'll feel it. Shivers running up and down my spine, like a love song. But you'll know. I'm just saying. Trust Mary Lou. Go find them. And I did. I looked it up. Where's the closest church to me? Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. But you could even put LDS Church. You could put the Mormon Church. Where is the closest one to me? And it'll tell you. Google will tell you. And I was excited. There's the ward that I would go to would be 20 minutes away. But then what I was excited about for other people, not me, is that they have a single ward. They have a ward just for singles from 18 to 30. Ages 18 to 30. If you're single, you can go to the single ward. And everybody there is single. So what a better place to find your mate. I don't know how to explain that to you, but if you went to a ward, regular wards have families, they have kids, and then, they're all in a family way type of deal. And then you've got people that don't feel so comfortable there. And so I think it's wonderful that they provided that. I don't know if that's everywhere, but I know that there's one here, not far away. So instead of going to a bar to look for somebody, go to church. And if you're going to a single ward, everybody there is single. They have dances. But regular church, they have sacrament meeting where they pass the sacrament. Everybody can partake of the sacrament. There's prayers and singing and talks. And then there's Sunday school class. But other than that, they have dances. They have activities. They have service things that they do, whatever. But you're doing it with like-minded people, and they're single. So that's a good way to form relationships and to get to know somebody, to actually get to know them, because sex is off the table. It's supposed to be. That's one of the biggies, because everybody's out there doing it, and you're not supposed to be, people. You're distracting yourself. You're keeping yourself away from what you could have by maybe being involved with the wrong person because you couldn't wait. I'm just saying, sex is wonderful, but it is supposed to be for married people, and it's supposed to be for creating children to come into your family. And yes, it's a nice perk. It's a nice perk to be able to have marital relations with your husband or wife, not with everybody out there. You be doing stuff with everybody out there, you're going to have diseases. You might ruin yourself to where you can't have children. There's all kinds of things you need to be watching out for. You don't want to be doing that. And that's what they're showing on TV. They're teaching our kids how to do it. And they're teaching them that it's the thing to do. And they're ruining their lives. They just don't know it. So, how can I get on a good note after that? I need to hush up. It's been almost an hour and a half. I can't seem to shut my mouth. I had some people say, they got back on and said hi again, because they were saying goodbye before. But I thought they were getting off because they wanted to get off. And then what they were saying was, what are you doing still here? I thought you were leaving. I left because I thought you were leaving. So that was nice. I have to quit saying I'm leaving, because I never do. I just have to say bye. So I tell you what, I will. I've got 1 minute, and it'll be an hour and a half. And I'm hot and sweaty and all like that. Not good. But I'm going to go get ready for bed. I don't know that I can go to sleep, but I have had a long day. Maybe I'll be able to. And I'm hot, so hot. Okay, pull these up. I was going to say button on my sleeve, but I don't think that's what they call it. pull up my sleeves anyway. The church is a wonderful thing. And I know I have been away from it a lot. I have my own reasons, but I was brought up in it. And I did take 4 years of seminary. Not only did I take it, I got straight A's. I was very inquisitive. I wanted answers. And so there was a lot of studying going on. And my teachers told me they learned more that year than ever before because, you know, they went and looked things up for me. But I don't know what's going to happen in my near future. I've been at my daughter's house for 1 year and 3 months now. And if things were just right, I would go back home. Colorado is a good place to be as far as the marijuana law. But there's a lot of good places. Washington is a good place to be too. Washington State. And I understand that New Jersey is a good place to go. But I mean, setting up a household is not an easy thing to do. Setting up new anywhere. I mean, I have paid a fortune to set up here. Even though I'm not talking about a house. I'm talking about just registering my car. My driver's license, getting my car ready and registered by their rules and regulations. I wouldn't move to Pennsylvania, people. I would move somewhere else. But my daughter loves it here. And my family is here. The people, my grandchildren, okay? My daughter and 6 grandchildren. That's my family. And then I have my brother and my 2 sisters. And my brother's in Arizona and my 2 sisters are in Washington State. Clean across the country. But I do own property in Colorado. So I need to figure out how to transform myself. Transport myself. Well, listen, you people, I've already passed the 1.5 hour mark, and my 3:33 will be coming up soon, but I know I can't get off just in time. It's always interesting, though, when I do get off, and it shows, when I get off my channel, and it shows my 3s. I think, oh, cool. Anyway, hopefully you guys will have a good life. And hopefully you'll find out about that app that I told you to get, Gospel Library. It's got so many things on it. It's not just books. I mean, there are books on it, but there are movies on it. General conferences on it. Not just one general conference, but several. I don't know if all of them are there. There's been a whole bunch. But the church is great. And it's there for you. And your mate. And your children. It is a place where you can, for the most part, be away from the world. Be away from Satan. And I gotta go. Bye, y'all.